scene of cutting innocent trees behind along the road. I felt really upset, and I could understand for a second or for the third time watching your film those crying women, and also to be very much upset by the laughing man who was with the project. And I could remember whatever man did to not only to trees but to all living beings. And you can read it from the times when the army from Africa came on elephants to go across Alps to conquer Rome. And you can read about one unhappy elephant in a book by José Saramago, and about those creatures that we brought to our world, that we could see them as an attraction. And I saw again unhappy beings caught with wires, captured, that cannot say a word, and again brought somewhere like the attraction, paying no attention to their feelings, that we are deeply, deeply upsetting and that we are creating pain. How did you survive the shooting of those scenes? I believe that you were too much concentrated on directing, but seeing those faces of people who are really upset, and especially women crying, because we had here something similar. It was the cutting of plane trees, old and beautiful plane trees in the biggest boulevard in Belgrade. And I remember faces of people who came for the first time after the cutting, and they were not only shocked, surprised, but some of them were crying and crossing, making cross with their hands, not believing that this could ever happen. So how did you survive connecting with all that? Ja sam, sažeću svoje pitanje, doživeo gledajući ovaj film, da je to još jedan dokument od svega toga što čovek nanosi ljudima. I sažeću moju priču o nesrećnim slonovima, zapisanim još iz vremena Staroga Rima, na pitanje da li nam je potreban zoološki vrt sa kavezima danas kada postoje tako divni filmovi iz čitave planete Zemlje, kada možete da putujete i da vidite sve to tamo gde zaista postoji. Ali čovek donosi igračke za sebe, ne obazirući se na to šta se sa tim bićima zaista dešava. Moje pitanje za Salome bilo je kako je ona, neću reći doživela, nego preživela te trenutke u kojima je drveće zarobljeno, vezano žicama, oteto od ljudi, prostora i drugog drveća koje je živelo sa njima u veoma bliskoj vezi.
So, of course, when you film something, like when you film in a war zone, for example, and I have been part of it at some point, you need to have some distance.
Kada snimate tako nešto, posebno kada snimate u ratnoj zoni, a imajte na umu da je i Gruzija bila ratna zona u nekim trenucima, onda morate da uspostavite distancu.
So with this distance, I stood looking for the first tree, my first tree to move. We were standing there with the camera, waiting for the tree to move.
I ja sam kod prvog drveta koje smo snimali stajala tamo, stajala pored kamere i čekala da se to drvo pokrene.
And of course I knew it would move, and then as soon as it moved, I felt dizzy and I felt I was about to vomit.
I onog trenutka kad se drvo pokrenulo, iako sam znala i čekala da se ono pokrene, ja sam osjetila nekakvu vrtoglavicu i mučninu i činilo mi se da ću povraćati.
It was as if I lost my access.
Kao da sam izgubila sopstvenu osovinu.
So it was really interesting to observe that I experienced this physically.
bilo je vrlo zanimljivo da sam shvatila i posmatrala sebe kako sam to pomeranje drveća doživjela potpuno fizički.
Even if I was trying to be rational.
Iako sam pokušavala da budem racionalan.
And there were some moments that were very emotional for me. There was one story that I would like to share with you. This story is not in the film because unfortunately many people were afraid to share their stories.
Bilo je i izuzetno emocionalnih priča i postoji jedna baš takva koja nije u filmu. Ja bih želela da je podelim sa vama, jer mnogi ljudi su se bojali da budu u filmu.
And the story was that there is an elderly woman who had her large tree, ancestral tree in her backyard. And they came to offer her to buy this tree, and she was hesitant. She didn't want to sell it because this tree bared engravings of her parents' initials, the names of her parents.
Jedna stara žena imala je tako 100-godišnje stablo u svom dvorištu. I kada su došli da joj ponude da kupe drvo, ona je oklevala da im da odgovor, posebno zato što su na tom drvetu bila urezana inicijali njenih roditelja.
She did not want to sell this tree initially, but her husband convinced her to sell the tree, to use the money for, I don't know, their life, to give education, to pay for the education of their grandchildren. And when they were digging this tree, the ground was too dry and